is due. I stand in awe of you. Song invitation after the lesson will be number 454, Nothing But the Blood, number 454.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you for choosing to be here this evening. I do have some bad news. I read about a new deadly disease that's come out. It's called DAS, D-A-S. But before I break you the bad news, I thought I'd tell you a story to cheer you up. You know, it's what I do. So one day, Charlie was walking with her mother, Stacy. They were holding hands and chatting, solving the world's problems, as you know they're wont to do. And as they were walking along, Charlie paused and looked up at her mother and said, "Mommy, when will I grow old enough to leave the house without letting you know?" And Stacy looked down at Charlie and said, "Charlie, you shouldn't leave the house without letting me know. It's just, you shouldn't do that." And Charlie smiled back and she said, I know, but when will I be old enough to leave without letting you know?" At this point, Stacy was thinking, she goes, "Well," so she went to the default answer. "You should go ask your father." So, when they got home from the walk, Charlie bursts into the house and says, "Daddy, where are you at?" And I yelled back, "I'm in the kitchen doing dishes." Not really. I was in the kitchen, but not doing dishes. So I said, "I'm in the kitchen." And she comes in, she says, "Daddy, I have a serious question." "Oh, go ahead," I replied, frankly expecting the worst. She says, "How old do I have to be to leave the house without telling Mommy?" I thought for a second. I leaned down and whispered into her ear, "I have no idea, but if I ever get that old, I'll let you know." And it made me think, all kids want to be older, right? My sister wanted to be a teenager. That was her life goal. She peaked early. But she wanted to be a teenager. That's what she wanted to do. And as we grow, we become that teenager and we get into school and we think, "Oh, I'm in school, but I just can't wait to get into my profession or get into college." And rather than getting absorbed into the learning, rather than getting into living that life while you're in school, or living that life while you're in college and getting the most out of it, we're so focused on that next step. now I'm into the college, and we've got several that are into college. Now I'm into college. Now I've got to get that job. I got to figure out what I want to do and how I'm gonna make it and the way I'm gonna impact this, and all these things. And when I get the job, then I'm gonna be happy. I'll figure it out. It's there. So rather than enjoying the process, enjoying the learning, enjoying the relationships that you get involved with, I worry about, I got to get this job. Well, then you get the job. You finally get that piece of paper. You know, I thought when I got my dental degree, I got that piece of paper. Suddenly, I knew how to do all this stuff because I got that piece of paper. It's kind of scary, actually. But I got that, and I got to work. And that whole time, we never really enjoyed the process we were in. We were just so goal-oriented on this. And then when we get to work, then we always need that next promotion, or we need that next raise, or we need whatever it is to get to the next step, to get to the next step, to get to the next step. And while I'm constantly focused on the next step, I totally forget to enjoy the process of learning my craft. Learning the ins and outs of whatever your job is, becoming the best at it. And along this whole process, when we're a kid and we just want to grow up, we're not really acting like a kid. And then when we get in school and we want to get this job, well, we were never really in school. We were always looking for the next thing. And then when I'm at this job, I want that big promotion. I want this next level of pay, whatever it may be, that I'm never really present at my job. And each step of the way, we're simply postponing our happiness because we say, when I get this, then I'll be content. Then I'll be happy. And our default really becomes, and I don't know if it's in every country, but it really is in the United States, let the next thing come, then I'll be happy. Let me get to that next step, then I'll be happy. And we all become a victim of that vicious disease that I told you about, DAS. D-A-S. Destination Addiction Syndrome. We all get it. We all get addicted to the concept of let the destination come, then I'll be happy. It's never, when we get that way, we never actually stay in the present moment to appreciate what we have. And it's not a life of balance. It's not healthy physically, and it's not healthy spiritually. And you may think, well, that's great, but what does that have to do with the Wednesday night lesson? Well, God talks about this in the Bible. You know, in James chapter 4, verse 14, he lays out the ground rules right off the bat. He said, "You know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It's but a vapor that appeareth for a while, then vanishes away." God told us in the very beginning, and really the thing that spurred this lesson on was when Dad was talking on Sunday night, and he said, you know what? I don't know how long I'm going to live, but I'm going to be the best pop I can be while I'm here. And I thought about that, and I thought, how much time, how many situations have I wasted because I'm worried about what's coming next? And we don't even know if there's going to be a next. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, it says, "Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." We got enough going on right now in the present. Exactly. We got enough going on right now in the present that God says, you don't need to worry about that. I'm not saying don't chase your goals. It's great to have goals. I've got a lot of goals that I want to check off before I leave this earth. But I'm going to try my best to enjoy the process. In Psalms chapter 139, verse 14, it says, "I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made." Not, back when I was in high school, I was fit. I was fearfully and wonderfully made then. Not, if I keep working out, if I keep eating right, then I'm going to be fearfully and wonderfully made. We are fearfully and wonderfully made right now. And I will tell you this, if God wakes you up in the morning, that means He's not done with you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made right now, and being in this present moment is good enough. And then lastly, Psalms chapter 118, verse 24. "This is the day the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be happy in it." Not yesterday, not tomorrow. This is the day the Lord hath made. Don't suffer from destination addiction syndrome. Be happy where you are right now. Strive for those goals. Do what you want to do, absolutely. But enjoy the time while we're right here. One of my favorite quotes from Kung Fu Panda